Hey everyone, it's Lisa Morton here with this week's Ghost Report. This week, let's talk about the most famous ghost hoax of all time. Now, when I tell you what this is, you may think to yourself, but I've never heard of it. Well, consider that this story obsessed much of the Western world for nearly a century. It's called the Cock Lane Ghost, and it starts in 1759 when a guy named William Kent moves to London with the sister of his recently deceased wife, Fannie. They were staying at a house owned by the Parsons family, and Fannie slept with the Parsons' 11-year-old daughter, Elizabeth. The haunting began after Fannie died of smallpox, and it wasn't long before Elizabeth and a friend began hearing knockings and scratchings beneath their bed. Soon, sightings of an apparition were reported, an apparition that bore the likeness of Fannie, glowed with an intense light, and beckoned to one man in a nearby pub. Here's where this becomes more than just a ghost story sliding right into true crime territory. Rumors began to circulate that Kent had poisoned Fannie to inherit her estate, and little Elizabeth confirmed this when she claimed to be possessed by Fannie's spirit. It wasn't long before half of London was filling up Cock Lane hoping for some paranormal activity. But soon the news broke that Elizabeth had actually stolen a cutting board from the kitchen and hidden it in her bed to make the sounds. And in 1762, the whole thing went to court, where 5 persons were found guilty in a conspiracy, including a maid, a parson, and a neighbor who had all participated in the hoax. Parsons, his wife, and the maid went to prison, while the other 2 paid significant sums to Mr. Kent. The case was so famous that writers like Oliver Goldsmith, Samuel Johnson, and, nearly a century later, Charles Dickens all wrote about the Cock Lane ghost. Makes you wonder what people will remember of us in 100 years, doesn't it? While you think about that, I will quietly step out, but be back next week with a new Ghost Report.